Hi team, we run Coach Alexa here, coach for Reading, South Oxfordshire and online. It's cropped up on two occasions so far this week, and it's only Tuesday afternoon, with runners that I've been catching up with, about the impact that phone use has. I was going to say phone use has on their running. Now, it's not been directly linking phone use and running via the medium of sleep and sleep quality and high quality rest and downtime. So let me explain that link. Phone use is an interesting one. The people that make the phones themselves and make apps for mobile phones want you to be using them a lot. A lot of the free services that we use, so social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever, all rely on advertising to make their money because they don't charge the end user, and in order to make more money from advertising, they need more people to be looking at and clicking on and commenting on and liking more stuff. So they're deliberately designed to drive that behaviour to keep you scrolling. There is a growing body of research that could be described as showing that mobile phones are addictive. I don't think they're actually allowed to call them addictive because for something to be sort of textbook called addictive, they have to have withdrawal symptoms, like from a drug, for example. But they have the same level of they go through the same pathways as addictive substances in the brain. So it's similar to online gambling, for example, that you just keep going back. So two things that this means, I think, and how it leads to an impact potentially on our running. One of which is the fact that going back even just 50 years or so, we were probably a bit better at having some downtime, right? We were either doing something, we were working, we were training, we were doing our homework, we were, doing something sort of, mentally or physically challenging, or we were not. So the alternatives, pre-television even, would have been, I don't know, reading a book, chatting to people, playing music, listening to music, gardening, whatever. So, and a lot of the stuff that we filled our free time with when we had it was probably relatively restful. However, phone use is not, from the brain's point of view, it is not a restful downtime activity. It's sort of triggering that kind of drive to check, to compare ourselves to others, to constantly be looking for new things. It's not a restful activity. So our body's not going to get into a rest and recovery state using our phone like it is if we were having a lovely chat with a good friend, or watching a wonderful sort of chilled out television programme, or listening to music, or reading a good book. The other thing is the impact that phones have on our sleep. So some of it is tied to what I just talked about. If you're kind of scrolling away on your phone for the hour up until bedtime, your brain's still in kind of do stuff mode. So you're going to take longer to fall asleep potentially. But also the screens on phones and tablets, and to a much lesser extent, but can be noticeable, televisions, emit a form of blue light, which kind of tricks our brain to an extent in thinking that it's daytime. So that natural swing of the awake hormone reducing and the sleep hormone increasing, which should happen throughout the evening, is impacted. It doesn't happen as strongly, and therefore we'll have more difficulty getting to sleep. So if you feel, like I do, talking about this, a bit seen, thinking that maybe your mobile phone spends a little bit too much time, being looked at, your screen time stats, if your phone has them, just look slightly alarming, then maybe start trying to set yourself some little ground rules. So one of the ones I've introduced recently is the phone doesn't come into the bedroom anymore. I've bought a very cheap and cheerful little alarm clock for the requirement of getting myself up at the required time if needed, and the phone doesn't come into the bedroom. And in the evenings, past a certain point, for me it's about 8 o'clock, the phone goes on charge on a shelf over in the corner, and that's it. I just kind of ignore it from that point onwards. The screen time apps or sort of built-in features on certain phones can be useful and sometimes eye-opening feedback for that. But thinking about how your phone fits into your life, is it is it, what box is it ticking? I see what you mean. So, you know, sometimes it can be good for social connections, for fitting in with people, with interacting with the virtual running club, etc. But when you're just kind of mindlessly doom scrolling at 10 o'clock in the evening and then wondering why you can't get to sleep, there might be something to investigate a little bit further there. Hope that's useful. Happy running.